Goddess.
Yes,
Welcome back, all those who are here today. Yes, she's
I'm
here.
back.
She's back.
Yes.
She's back. Hey, I just want to say, no, this is not going to be a solo run. Just because I was there
Yay.
last time and people said I did good. Hey, the survey says that we get more people who are viewing us when she's there, which is why it's taking the journey together. So you won't see it being taken the journey and then it's just with me. It's taking the journey together with both of us.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't
glad to
take
see
it
you back.
together by yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm glad to see you back. I know those who are out
Uh,
there are glad to see her back too at the same time. And I hope the last time when I was talking, I didn't get us in too much trouble or get me in too much trouble, or I was doing too much tough love, as some people might say that I do. Or people got
I
something out of it and turn at the same time feel that well, how can I say? I can't wait till Sharon comes back. No, I'm just joking.
I thought you did a magnificent
Well, how
job.
could you? You weren't there.
I wasn't there, but I was sitting at my desk waiting for parents to come in, which very
Mm-hmm.
few did. And when
Okay.
no parents came in, I had I had taken the journey together on my phone.
Oh, really?
And yes, I did. And so I was listening and enjoying.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Well,
Yes.
I'm glad to see
And
you.
missing it.
And
I kept looking at the empty chair and saying,
mm-hmm.
I
Well,
should have taped a picture of me to the back. I never thought about that.
a couple of times I said you were there. I kind of pointed to you like this, and people are like, yeah,
No, nobody's there.
no, nobody's home.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about? No, what's our motto? That's what I should say. What is our motto, or our mission statement? What is it?
We are going to relate. It
Okay.
doesn't matter what a mother, father, sister, brother, or Jesus or anybody else says.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to relate. But what we're trying to instill in people is to relate in a balanced way.
Mm-hmm.
And by balanced, I mean starting off your relationship with a friendship,
Mm-hmm.
building on that friendship until you are committed. Once you are committed, then you move into that relationship that is cohabiting, that is marriage, that is whatever you design it to be. And you're doing this with your friend and your lover. And so that's balanced because you have them both in one person.
Yes, yes, that's very well said. Very well said. So, um, in that, we talked a last time just with me.
Guess what we didn't do?
Well, we want people to share right now. Go out and share and let people
Yes.
know about the show. Share it with your
Share
friends.
and
Share it
share
with
alike.
your your spouse. Share it with your kids. Share it even with your enemy if it comes down to it. And like some, preacher said to me, sometimes you may have to take what we say, put it in the deep freezer, and one time or two times or maybe three times you are to bring it out. Now, what is it that you were looking at me and saying we forgot?
We forgot to be hot.
Oh, we forgot about hot. Did you
Yes.
bring that one this time around?
Ta-da!
Ah, she got the hot button.
Hot.
Yes, the hot button. Bring it closer.
Ooh.
Hot. For those who don't know what a hot means, if you're not hot, then you're just not. You're
Exactly.
just not. Hot means
Honest.
open and tempting. No, and transparent. Honest, open, and transparent. Are you an honest, open, and transparent kind of person?
Is
If
your
not, you certainly
relationship
should be
based
that way in
on
your
it?
relationship. You may not be that with anybody and everybody because you don't know them that
Yeah.
closely. You may not be friends who are going to understand that. But in your relationship, you definitely should be honest, open, and transparent. That should be part of what you do in life and make sure it is what it is in life with you too. No doubt about it.
Yes. So, hot buttons. You
Hot
can
buttons.
get your hot button
Mm-hmm.
with through taking the journey together, uh, taking the journey dash to get together,
Mm-hmm.
taking the I can't remember it. It is
Well,
TTJT
I'm
at
gonna say.
takingthejourney-together.com. The memory failed me.
Well, that's right. I
But
put up on the bottom too. Look at the
yes.
bottom. They can look right down there at the bottom. Well, I can't get down that far.
Okay.
And go from there. See, look at that.
Yes. Free shipping, or we can meet you and give it to you. It's only $5 each.
Don't be afraid. Don't be
Exactly.
afraid. We're out. If you see somebody that look like us that have these hot buttons under you, know it's us, stop and say
Yes.
something. Tell us there's something that you like or something you didn't like or something you want us to talk more about. We are and do have a life coaching skills in relationships. We
Hmm.
do have those skills. Those who listeners can also tell. But at the same time, we got the certificate that comes along with it. So please go through the
We got our
process of doing it.
papers.
Exactly. Hey, talk about
Oh,
what
oh,
we're going to
wait,
try to
wait,
do in
wait.
the future.
Okay, see, oh, we're
Hmm.
on the same page. I was
Hmm.
just about to do that. We are about to, in October,
Hmm.
we are going to have our next um, wow date night.
Yes.
And I got so excited about it. I got my words
Hmm.
all jumbled up together.
Hmm.
But we're going to have our next wow date night.
Hmm.
And it is going to be called a Gullah Geechee night out.
Yeah, Gullah Geechee Night Out. If you have
Yes.
not been to our wild date nights, then you have not experienced the wow that you will get while you're there.
Yes.
It would be exciting. It's also colorful. Good food is there. We're usually at a good restaurant. And it doesn't cost too much, come to think of it.
It's very
It's
comparable.
very intimate too, so you don't have to worry about your business being spilled out no more than to your partner
Yeah.
that's there. And at the same time, it has a chance for you to get out and spend some top quality time with your partner and get a little bit closer. You
Yes.
may get to find some new friends too when that happens. So be prepared for it. We only do no more than about 10 people, maybe a little
10
bit more
couples.
couples, just because of the fact of the intimacy we want to keep.
Yeah.
We want people to feel afraid or uncomfortable. And we especially don't want, if you ladies out there are going to bring your guy with you, we don't want that guy to feel uncomfortable that, man, I shouldn't be here doing this. We want him to feel, okay, that's cool. Because you'll see a lot of other guys, a lot of brothers will be out too at the same time. And you can get that good, bro feeling between one another from that. And you'll find that there's a lot of things in common that you also have too that a lot of us as couples are going through, and you're not really
Yes.
not alone.
So expect to have more information about where it's going to be, how to sign up,
Hmm.
how to be a part of it coming up. We should have more information by next week.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah.
should. We definitely should. Definitely will. Okay, so let's go right into our committee with commitment.
Commitment.
Yes, yes. You want to start us off with it?
Yes. Well, last week you talked about the wedding vows for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a commitment that generally when we are in our early 20s and we get married, the for better or for worse, in sickness and in health,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, we don't think about sickness and health because we're
No.
young. We don't, so that kind of goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're
Mm-hmm.
not prepared if we do come into that. So where's our commitment then? So
Yes.
better or for worse, you know if we're spoiled, or if we are self-centered and we go into this, better or worse, for better or for worse, you may have to consider that like 2 days into the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
you know but it's how committed are you to make this thing work?
Yeah.
Yes. And so I really enjoyed what you were saying last week
Yeah.
about that.
I said some things that some people might have been offended when I was talking about how many of us would be prepared to die for our mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the death part or the long, we shall live is usually, hopefully, we'll die naturally.
Yeah. A
Either
long, long time.
with one another or, one before the other.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be the other side. There could be some dangers that are coming up.
Yes.
Snow, hail,
Yeah.
fire,
Mm-hmm.
a personal attack. Are you prepared to be able to be committed, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to lay your life down for the person
Yes.
that you love? I know we many times will feel we'll do that for our children, but
Yeah.
are we really ready to be able to do that for a mate? And that's the
Yeah.
drastic, extreme side,
Mm-hmm.
no doubt about it. But that was that commitment that you made. That was a commitment that you put out there, that you said that you were willing to be able
Right.
to do.
And people do get sick,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's chronic or long term.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be willing to do what it takes to make your partner comfortable
Yeah.
during those times, even if it means that you can't do what you're used to doing?
Exactly. Commitment is agreement or pledge to do something in the future. Commitment is a promise or intention to someone.
Mhm.
intention to someone. So you know this intention means it's something for the future that
Yes.
I am set up promising to do,
Mhm.
which is what that marriage vow was all about.
Exactly.
If you listen
If you
to it.
listen.
Or you might have wrote your own. Some people, young
Yeah.
people, writing their
Yeah.
own marriage vow, but they still seem to be based under that
Mhm.
same principle, to at the same
Yeah.
time, good or bad, death or
Yeah.
life.
We
Mhm,
wrote our own because I know sometimes people
mhm,
they don't like that part of the for better or for worse
mhm,
that says to honor and obey.
mhm.
A lot of people don't like that, and so
Yes, you
they
mean to
write it
honor and to
right on
submit.
out of it.
You
You know.
need to honor or submit.
Hmm.
I honor you, but I ain't submitting to you.
I'll honor you, but I'm not going to obey you.
Oh,
You know.
exactly.
Yeah. That.
Sometimes that's a problem works on both sides. The man
Hmm.
said, "Nah, man, I'm about running the show. I'm submitting to you," and then you get the other side of the woman says, "No, I'm in a relationship to be the boss,
Yes.
and I'm running this show,
Yes.
and you gonna submit to me."
And then sometimes people get caught up in, well, I'm making more money, so I should have the
Oh, you
the
mean
last say so.
the money part becomes
Yes.
something that's more important for people to be concerned with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know, which is messed up in itself.
yeah. That is
Yeah.
when the money part gets
Yeah.
that overly rated, as people
Oh,
say.
it is. It's
Mhm.
definitely overrated.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because that says that
My
the
money
better.
buys the love in this relationship, and that's how
Exactly.
it goes. Hey, what do you think about the thing Kevin Samuels was talking about before he passed away? High maintenance men,
Yeah.
and they need to have high maintenance women. If you're not a high maintenance woman who's making the same kind of salary I have, $6,000, 6,000. That's a shame. Well, I'm making that in a minute. That is
Unless
six
unless you're
figure.
making that a week.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
even more. But
Yeah.
then once you come into my existence, because of the money you have, then you better think about submission, because you're not going to get this money that I'm
Yeah.
getting, and whatever toys I buy for you, whatever thing else that you come along with me. That's kind of like the idea of thinking, yeah, I can buy your love, because some people are sold on that highest bidder.
Yeah. And to me, that's that high maintenance individual, whether it's male or female,
Mhm.
is really, to me, self-centered.
So hold on for a second. So we call those women are like that gold diggers. So what do you?
Unless they're the ones that are making that kind of money.
So what do we call the guys? Go diggets? The one looking for the women with money.
No, what do they call them?
We usually call the women cougars, and then the
No,
guys
that's
that
if
comes
they're
along.
older.
That's true, but I don't know what's the name to call for a guy that's running after
There is a name.
maintenance man.
No, well, no. There's a man. There's
Oh,
a
you
name
said
for a
that like you
guy.
had some experience in that one, sister.
No. There is a.
Brought back a memory, huh?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
There is an.
I'll leave that alone.
There is
That was
an.
before my time, right?
No.
Okay, I'll behave.
No, you won't. You never do. I'm trying to think of
What?
that word for a man that is willing
A hoe?
to. No,
What?
men don't call themselves that. That's the belittling for a woman.
Some men call other men hoes. Use another word too. It starts with a B, but we'll let that
Well,
one go.
yeah, we'll let that go. What was it? Anyway, it'll come to me.
Okay, good.
It'll come to me.
We'll move on, because we're talking about commitments too. We don't want to lose our audience.
Yes.
We're trying to be as family friendly as possible, couple friendly as possible, because we want people to move ahead in the relationship. We want people to understand this is like remodeling your relationship. That's
Yes.
right. A thriving
rem-
relationship. That upgrade is all about remodeling your relationship. You always have a foundation that you're in, because you're married, okay, and or you're living with one another, how it may be, but it's a
Yeah.
long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So you got that foundation. So taking a journey is all about expanding it,
Yeah.
adding on to it, remodeling that house.
Yes, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Working on marriage compares to remodeling a house.
And many people do not think about
Yeah.
that again, because they didn't think about their vows in the first place.
Exactly.
What commitment was involved with. So after that was over, and the thrill is gone, baby. The thrill is gone tonight.
But
Then
just
it's like,
because the
wow, what
thrill
do?
is gone does not mean it has to stay away.
That's true.
It
You
could
can-
just
you can
it
create
could
that
just be
again.
on hiatus. It could be
That's
on
true.
on
That's true.
vacation. Just
Yeah. Got a headache.
Exactly.
I gotta watch the football game.
Yes, it's one of those things that you can rejuvenate, you can recreate, you can build up again.
No more granny panties. Yes, right. Oh, I'm sorry. I
So
didn't say
what's
that.
wrong with granny
I
panties?
didn't
No,
mean-
I'm just
I didn't mean that. I don't know where that came from. I should have never
Yes.
said.
Granny
Sorry about
panties
that.
and tidy
Over this
whities.
air, This is not right.
Yeah, granny panties and tidy whities
It's not
should.
okay.
That's.
Then what about the wife beaters? How did they come up with a name like that? T-shirts called wife beaters.
I know, and
Oh my God.
I have heard some
Uh-huh.
things about that, but I don't want to talk
I
about it.
know, man.
I
when
don't want
I
to
heard
talk
that a
about
long time ago, I'm like, that kind of strange. How is a shirt
I
a wife
don't.
beater?
I don't want.
And it was usually on a woman who had the
Mm-mm.
T-shirt
No,
on. The
it
ones
was-
I saw.
No, it was.
Well,
It was.
the kind of magazines I used to open. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah, but it was. It's a man's undershirt. So just,
I know that.
so you just you fill in the blank as to where you think it came from.
Anyway, that
Yeah.
was not a good idea. To
It
call
was
it
not.
that, if you ask me.
It was not.
It sounded kind of like
The kind of-
abusive.
It was.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Mhm.
Abusive situations, and that's why I said I don't want to talk about it.
Well, commitment is what we're talking about. And
Yes.
that's not abuse. When you're in a commitment, you are not being abusive unless you have not made that accountability and sets a high regard. It's a strong resolve that I'm in this relationship in connection to a commitment. Because if you don't do that, then there's no doubt about it. You're going to be the one that come along for the ride,
Yeah.
and you're going to be in most of what they call a codependent relationship, because
Mhm.
you really ain't about this. You're not really strongly feel that this is connection, so you're not doing much to keep it connected. And it's just one person who's really doing it most of the
Exactly.
time. It's not all the time. So since it's like a remodeling a house, that means it's going to take longer than what you planned. What do you think about
Yes.
that? Taking
Oh,
longer.
yeah.
I talked about it last time. What do you feel
Mhm.
as a lady as for in that idea that, hey, in a relationship, a long-term relationship, it's going to take longer than what I planned? Or did you think that once we, got married and opened that door to the new house, or whether how big and small it was, that's it?
Yeah.
The door open, you close the door like the end of the movie. That's the end of the show.
No.
You get the ending credits.
Yeah. No. Women don't think that way.
Okay, help me out
And
then. So
because-
you're saying as men think that way?
More so than women.
You think so?
Because-
have you actually surveyed every man to
No,
come to that conclusion?
No. I said I think
You
more
think.
so. Not
I thought
every.
you said you can't think for men, but you just got this one
No.
you just did.
I said I'm not. You brought the men into it. I said women.
Oh, so you disagree with it for me because I said that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because women are often
And I don't really know if all men think that way.
Yeah.
But that was just
and all women
that was a stereotype that was kind
Yeah.
of given to me. So.
and all women don't either.
Mhm.
But in general, women like to move things around
Mhm,
in the house. They like to remodel things. They'll
mhm.
get tired of looking at a sofa and go out and buy a slip cover and throw it on the sofa and give a completely
Okay.
different look.
Okay.
So taking longer than you planned. If you're settled in and you want things a certain way, yeah, that could be a problem, because when you start remodeling,
Mhm,
if you've never remodeled before,
mhm.
you don't know this, but if you have, you know that sometimes as you're going forward, something can happen and you have to go backward a little bit,
Yes.
adding on to your time.
Mhm.
But it's the journey, and it's what you make of it. It's you know how you deal with it. Do you deal with it as, oh my gosh, it's broken and so it can't be fixed? Or do you deal with it of, okay, I don't like this this wallpaper, so let's get some more.
Yes.
Or I don't like the fact that we are not taking a vacation together this year, so let's come up with something else.
Yes. Let's head down to that sports arena so I can watch me some good slam dunk contest.
Okay, that sounds great. As long as we can go down to the
Mhm.
nail shop and we'll get pedicures
Ne-
together.
nail shop. Why would I go to the nail shop? There's no
Why
basketballs
would
down there.
why would I go? Well, I'll go to the basketball game with you if you go to the nail shop
I'll
with me.
take you to the nail shop and drop you off.
But that's not
Hey,
communicating.
you'll get hot dogs. You'll get your favorite thing like popcorns, and you watch the guys go up and down the floor. What more do you want? You like sports anyway.
Okay, for
and
me,
you like getting in trouble. Yeah.
for me, that's
there
fine.
you go. You wouldn't have a problem.
I wouldn't
That's what
have a
was talking
problem
about.
with it.
That's what I was
Yeah,
talking about.
but I was talking, if that's not,
You mean in general?
I'm not even in general. I'm saying
Okay.
in certain cases, if that's
Okay.
not what, because some women don't care for sports,
That's true. That's true.
And so
it's not
if,
necessarily that true anymore.
Right. But if
Some women are very much into sports.
oh yeah,
They're actually in sports.
exactly. But if you are um, committed
Hmm.
to the agreement that you both enjoy sports, what's wrong with going to a sports arena and enjoying a good game or
Yeah,
whatever?
or like me, I'd love to see some professional boxing going on around here. I would go there a lot. But they have no professional boxing in this particular town whatsoever.
Yeah.
Love to see some other professional teams actually be here.
Hmm.
Basketball team, maybe a football team, but that's not here. You got to go a little bit further just to get any of that. So I won't be taking you to there. This here.
Okay, I'm good
Boat
with that.
rides, helicopter
Now
rides.
those are good.
Yeah, we took some on that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So it takes longer to do planning. So that's one of the key things is
Hmm.
planning has to be in that relationship.
Yes.
Many of us in our relationships, especially long-term relationship, we leave the planning to either the lady or we just leave it alone and just come along
Yes.
for the ride. I'm talking with guys many times. We've got to be involved with the planning. You could be at a job where your job is to plan in detail $100,000 $200,000 homes, or planning to be able to get the grass cut because I'm part of landscaping.
Hmm.
Whatever it may be, you are involved with planning. But when you come to your relationship, you go, I ain't really doing that.
Yeah.
Planning is important in a relationship that you're trying to rebuild or remodel
Definitely.
that, because it's part of that commitment
Yeah.
itself.
And it's one of those things that's gonna, shore up the gaps. It's like,
Mhm.
when you're remodeling a house, you may be remodeling a house because the wall coverings are outdated, and so you need to fix, change that, or there could be a crack in the foundation that you need to tighten up,
Mhm.
to make it last longer.
Mhm.
And that's what commitment is about, making the relationship last longer.
Yes. Wow. Isn't that something? Um, cost more than what?
That more than you figured, more than you
Yeah,
thought.
yeah. I just
Yeah.
heard yesterday that they did a survey of cost for one of the universities, and they found out it almost is $300,000 to $400,000 to raise one child now.
Wow.
That's all the way into college,
Wow.
and that was just average.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what neighborhood, I don't know what places, I don't know if they went to like Walmart or dollar store when it came to shopping stuff for the kids.
Yeah.
But I thought that was absolutely high enough to say to myself, I was younger, I wouldn't have no kids.
Oh, I know. But
That was unreal.
that's where the planning comes in,
True.
because you need to, if you're looking at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm looking at it as cutting corners,
Mm-hmm.
because even if it costs that much today,
Mm-hmm.
back when we were having kids,
Mm-hmm.
it was still just as, the number sounded just as astronomical
Mm-hmm.
when you take into consideration what our finances and what our income was.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you cut those corners? Where do you know, work around it so you make it doable? I remember, because I could sew, I saved a lot of money by making the kids clothes.
Well,
So you learn how to cut corners. You don't eat out all the time. That's a luxury. You go to the park and you pack a lunch. You don't stop by McDonald's and take it with you.
you're encouraging people to have kids in lieu of the fact that they could be spending $400,000 to $600,000 in 1 year. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, because they
Oh.
don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You get creative.
I would say sometimes you need to be wise about having children.
That's
Because we have a
absolutely.
lot of babies out there having babies.
Oh yeah.
And one of
Yes.
the things those babies do is they do not figure on the children
Yes.
and the cost that is involved.
I agree with
How
you
about this?
100%.
We're talking about already the commitment that
Mhm.
should be
Yeah.
there as an element in the
Mhm.
relationship in the first
Yeah.
place for the long
And
run.
and see, and that's where I was talking to. I was talking to the committed people, the people who are already committed in relationship,
Mhm.
with children. Yeah, young people having children without a commitment to anything,
Mhm.
that's not a good look.
Uh-uh.
That's not a good
Mm.
idea at all. And
No.
so no, I was not even considering those people
Okay.
when I was making
And
my
then it
statement.
moves into our next one. It's messier than you anticipated.
Yeah.
Messier or anticipated. I mean, the date light, the time that you were courting, that was so nice. It was so good. You put on
Mhm.
your best and all that other good stuff. But then when you got into the relationship, house got messy as could be. She don't clean because she ain't domestic.
Yeah.
You at the
Or
same
don't have
time,
time.
yeah, don't have time, or you at the same time have a hardworking job, or you can't find a job, and you're like, man, I don't feel good about myself. I can barely think about trying to clean up around this house because that was something I grew up in anyway doing. My
Yeah.
mom did it, so I ain't staying around much at all.
Right.
So it gets messy, and that's just the tip of
Hmm.
the iceberg of messiness that
Yeah.
goes on. The
Yeah.
mind thought, and then the observation comes up.
Hmm.
You've seen houses that people are like hoarders. I
Yeah.
just watched one not too long ago. It's a show that comes on, this young African American lady's sister has. And basically, her show is all about looking at people whose houses are cluttered. And she
Hmm.
goes in with a crew and helps them understand that this clutter doesn't need to be in the house. Has another young black guy that goes through the process of doing um, the neighborhood. What's the thing when you sell your houses? You sell your stuff on the in after in the on weekends.
Yard
Yard sale.
sale.
He's an expert in yard sale, and the other two only do the process of taking the stuff out that's not necessary,
Hmm.
and then put in some simpler stuff. And so this one particular couple, they basically were having a hard time relating to one another, and the outcome was how their house looked.
Hmm.
He, being the male, he bought the daughters anything they wanted to. They wanted. And he looked upon them as being in love. So
Mm.
instead of taking time out with him, instead of talking to him, he just would buy him something. And the
Wow.
rooms were full of a whole bunch of stuff all over the place. She, at the same time, because he worked a lot and he just did the same thing with her, buy her things.
Hmm.
She had such a habit of that's just what love is. She'd be on Shopping Network and everything you can think of. And the house is full of stuff she just bought, but they ain't even using.
Wow.
So they first had to deal with the relationship itself.
Hmm.
The relationship really wasn't sticking to the commitment, a commitment of having love, sharing,
Yeah.
care, and hotness there.
Right.
That's what happened. And so they had to deal with that at the beginning
Hmm.
and have them come to terms with that, with the children too. And then they could work on cleaning that house up and knowing that all that clutter was kind of like how it was inside of their life.
Right.
They had a lot of clutter, but not much time for each other.
Yeah. That's, and that's really sad. But when you were talking about things being messy,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about what we were talking about before with toxicity. And I
Mm.
thought about, friends can messy up a
Yeah.
relationship too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That can
Definitely. So can
definitely.
family.
Yeah.
Family can really mess up a relationship if you let them to, or they feel like they have to.
Or they feel like they can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And boy, sometimes we let them can.
Yeah, we do. We
Especially if
definitely do.
you're come up with a belief system that family is the most important.
Yeah.
It's large family.
Hmm.
You just by that belief system will allow family many times to come in.
Hmm.
Those families will take advantage of it, unless you have a family that respects you totally in that matter,
Hmm.
knows that you're going to love them no matter what.
Yeah.
But that other side of that what is your what to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And if it in turn becomes too bad that you can't deal with it, then of course you're going to let the family know or the police know or whoever. But it's not our job to be in there to try to tell you how to live your life
Exactly.
and how you should, be in your relationship.
Right. Right.
Especially if you're a grown woman.
Or a grown man.
Exactly. I want to use the other word, put the A in the middle, but you really seriously. So that's very important.
Yes.
It requires greater determination than what you expected.
Yes.
Determination.
It ain't easy.
Mm-hmm. You don't take all that. That's what I would
Yeah.
say.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that's one of those things that we sometimes take for granted.
Mhm.
It's like, remember that poem we wrote, relationships are hard work,
Mhm.
and it is, because you always have to be on your P's and Q's about it to
Mhm.
see where you are, where you're going,
Mhm.
what's making your partner tick, and and all of
Mhm.
that, or what makes your partner ticked off.
Mhm.
So so you have to be determined. If somebody says, you know, one of us got to leave, this is
Mhm.
it. One of us got to leave. Your determination has to say, okay, I'll be here when you get back,
Mhm.
which is, I'm here for the long haul. And that determination on the other part has to be the same.
Yes. Yes. I think the greater determination part is the part that has to do with I got to be prepared to give more than 50%. I got to be prepared to give more than 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be prepared to go 150%
Yeah, at least.
beyond your bounds. What boundaries I'm talking about? Beyond the boundaries that have to do with what you would do by yourself.
Yes.
You are not by yourself in a relationship
No,
anymore.
not even.
You are there to try to relate and be relating to someone else.
Mhm.
That's part of that commitment. And so
Absolutely.
you definitely many times will go outside of the boundaries of being single, just doing things for yourself. I've seen a couple of relationships, more than one, to be honest with you. Both of them are like two singles in that relationship.
Yeah.
Just two
Absolutely.
singles in
Two
that relationship.
singles.
They really are not us's at all. They're
Not
just
even
two
close.
single
Not
people.
even
And they
close.
don't go anywhere around the boundaries that they were. And they actually have felt and probably say to themselves, I feel so good being in this relationship because
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing no more different than what I was before I
Yep.
got married.
Yes.
Doing no different.
Oh, I'm still
Mhm.
living the life.
Exactly.
You know, she lets me do this, that, or the other,
Mhm.
or he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind when I do this, that, or the other. But what's the point? Do you do it together?
I don't think that was the main concern there.
Right. Exactly.
They didn't listen to the vows at all. They
Exactly.
came into a relationship where they mostly committed to each other.
To
Oh,
themselves.
to themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Until one day we shall split. No.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
tomorrow, because I'm going to Detroit and you're going to New York. You do whatever you got to do. I see you in the morning. No.
Yeah. I'll be here when you get back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
A committed relationship, again, is one that you and your partner intentionally,
Mhm.
intentionally
And-
say
yes.
yes to each other in the future.
Yes.
You intentionally say yes to each other in the future. And then you proceed by conversations from there about future hopes,
Mm-hmm.
dreams,
Yeah.
plans, and what else?
For yourselves and the rest and the relationship itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that brought up that way? Because many relationships are not talking about future dreams,
No.
not talking about future plans. Many relationships, as you know, are just trying to make it now. They're in the
Yeah.
survival mode, trying
Yeah.
to make it now. They can't even think about tomorrow. They
Yeah.
can't even think about down in the future. What's your thoughts about that?
I think you are right on target with that. But one of the things is, when a lot of times people will, the farthest in the future that they will think is the wedding and where the honeymoon is going to be and where they're going to live.
Mhm.
And after that, it's, business as usual. I keep doing what I'm doing. He keeps doing what he's doing.
Mhm.
But they don't ever take into consideration that the relationship itself, the marriage itself, the commitment or the supposed commitment itself is
Mhm.
supposed to bring them together, not keep them in their separate, lifestyles. What's the point in getting married if you're going to still live the lifestyle that you lived when you were by yourself?
Well, one thing for sure, if you stay on that kind of mindset, you won't have a real mindset of creating something hopeful together.
Exactly.
You won't be talking about dreams
Mm-hmm.
that have to do with both of you, not
Right.
just one.
Right.
I want you just to help my dream. No, I want you to help my dream.
Mhm.
We're talking about dreams, committed to having dreams that you both
Yeah.
have committed and created together
Right.
to do. Like our unity in the community, come to think of it. It's a shameless plug.
Yeah.
Our unity community that we've been doing for 6 years down on River Street.
Hey.
First African-American couple to be doing it for 6 years on
Yeah.
River Street. We are still down there. Even through the pandemic, we are still down there on River Street. Not us personally. We have another site manager that does it because we're trying to pass it on so it becomes a legacy here
Mhm.
in Savannah.
Yeah.
But if those out there would ever come or have ever come to our unity community down on River Street every third weekend of the month with all the arts and craft people there, we'd love to have you still come. We had one just last weekend. It was very good.
Mhm.
But we're also looking for good vendors that look like us and vendors that are not looking like us. We're looking for vendors to come down on River Street and be
Yeah.
with us every third weekend of the month. So please come down and visit us. And at the same time, call that number up there, 912-495-8838. And you'll have the opportunity to talk to someone who can leave a message, and we'll get back with you on how you could become one of our vendors, arts and craft vendor or a food vendor. Unity Community, as you can see, www.unityinthecommunity.org is the website that you go to that you can get our information, look at some of our past things we did, Also, look at the same time. You can find out what can you find out? Oh, the application cost.
Yeah.
We also on Facebook too. If you go to Facebook and look for Unity in the Community, the one that's here in Savannah, you get to see some information there too at the same time. Shameless plug, but I'm going to plug it anyway. We also on the Taking the Journey Together show. Side, we do what? Why don't you tell me a little about it?
We do a radio show on
Yeah, let me find it.
on WRUU every
Mhm.
Saturday morning at 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
from 9 to 10. And, it's no matter what we're talking about, even if we're talking about the same thing we're talking about here,
Mhm.
there's a different twist on it just because a lot of what we say is triggered by things that come up in the moment. And so when you're live, you're live. It's not a repeat performance. It's not Memorex. It's
Mhm.
it's live, and you have to be old enough to know that. Remember that commercial.
It's
Yes.
not live. It's Memorex.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Memorex.
And then they'd have who was that? Was it Mahalia Jackson?
I don't know.
No, it wasn't Mahalia Jackson. It was can't think of her name. But anyway, she would hit this high note and break a glass, and they would say,
Staying right in front of the speaker.
yes, is it live or is it Memorex?
Yeah, exactly. That
So
was a tape. For those out of younger, that was a tape, a cassette tape. To be honest with you,
yeah,
there's folks who might be listening to us. They don't know what a cassette tape is.
I know.
Let alone, I ain't ashamed to say we know what 8 tracks are.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, 8 tracks.
yeah. We know what 45s are.
Yeah, exactly. That too. I ain't talking about the gun neither.
Yes,
Wow. So
33 and a third.
yes, committed to relationships is a very, very important. That's our topic for today.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
Commitment itself. What are some other things that we can think about when it comes to commitment? Let's talk about some of the
Well,
size.
before you
I'm
do
sorry.
that, this is one of the things that I love about this. It says when you're committed, you're happy for them,
Mhm.
and you know the deeper parts of their life, and in return, you expect the same from them.
Yes.
So when you're committed, it's like I'm happy when you're happy,
Mhm.
and I expect you to be happy when I'm happy,
Mhm.
and in that case, we're always happy together.
Mhm.
When
So
things
what-
aren't going so well, then we try to bring each other up.
So what happens when things are not going well and you're mean mugging me and everybody in the life, and I'm still trying to entertain you, like being Cedric the Entertainer, and you still ain't feeling it, still ain't having it.
You say, well, I'm going to take a ride, and I'll say, fine, I'll be here when you get back. No, that was I just had to bring that one back around.
Hey, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because that area that you're talking about being happy is, I think, a very important foundation.
Yeah.
It also says that the commitment that I have, good or bad, sickness or health, poor or rich, I'm still happy, not about those things that will happen.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna be happy going through those things.
No.
Especially if they're sickness, especially if it's death. I mean, those things are mourning, and that's not happy times. It's
Exactly.
mourning. But I think the happiness that they're referring to is the fact that I get a chance to share experience with another person in my life.
Right.
And the
That
long
I
run.
enjoy.
Well, I think just the enjoyment of getting to know another person.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. The enjoyment is getting to know someone
Yeah.
in the long run.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not about trying to get something to know someone in the long run. Maybe you just want to do casual relationships with people in life, and that's okay if you
Yeah.
want to do that. But if you're looking for a long-term relationship with someone, which comes along with this commitment, then your happiness is getting to know who this person really is. This person been around for a little while. Been around for a while. So, I mean, you're going to take some time. It takes some time to get to know that person.
Yeah.
And if they're going to operate in a deep way, which will be then giving you a chance to get to know them,
Yeah.
then it's going to take the time. And that should be something you should want to feel happy about. Hopefully there was something connected about them. Hopefully there was something that was special about them. Hopefully there was something, moving about them that said, I want to know this person deeply, and I'm happy about getting to know them, whether it's a good time, whether it's a bad time. This is a happy thing for me to want to do and make it a venture in life.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It does, because at the same time you have to realize that people are always changing.
Yeah.
And we hear about
that.
couples that grow apart. Well, quite often that growing apart is because somebody is expecting to stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't need to grow. I'm good the way I am or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you are willing to grow with that other person and you see their changes and you celebrate their changes
Mm-hmm.
and they see your changes and celebrate your changes and you're always doing this together,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to grow apart because you're going to share in that growth together. So yeah, I think that's very it's one of those oh gosh, what is it? I just lost the word. It's one of those progressive thoughts, but that's not the word I
I would
was
say it's
looking
more
for.
prolific
Yeah.
because, again, as we talked before, the me generation, the now generation says, I ain't going through no sickness. I ain't
Yeah.
going in through no poorness. I'm not
Definitely not
going through
that.
no badness time.
Mm-hmm.
And I especially ain't going to be around too much when this could be heading to death.
Yeah.
So, from my side, all I want is happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see and don't believe and don't feel that that happiness that you just spoke of is just relating to that one side
No.
of that vow.
Right.
It's about that whole relationship with that person,
Exactly.
enjoying the wholeness of them and who they are, good and bad, and looking at adventure as
Yeah.
something in life that you want to do with that person.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why you first fell in love. No, it don't mean you're not going to fall out of love. Doesn't mean you may have to rekindle the flames, no doubt
Mhm.
about it. Once you get to know that person more and more, hopefully you'll find that there's something about them that's very loving and caring that they never showed before or show more of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're feeling real good about it because it's a learning process that should always be
Absolutely.
going in your relationship. But one thing is for sure, when you finally do catch up, years that they were here before you, then there's a period of time, should be before that, where you start building that deepness that you both have created
Mhm.
together
Yeah.
or want to create together.
Yeah.
And those memories that come out that you are creating together then become part of that deep conversation
Right.
you had that you both created as experience as one being,
Mm-hmm.
one unit, one individual in
Yeah.
yourself.
And
Well,
and
actually,
that's
two individual. People say
but
you really
that
one
two
together.
that two I was just getting ready to say that two becomes one.
Yeah, well,
You know,
a lot of people
or
say you become an us.
or you say that two becomes one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah, and that's where that happiness comes in
Well,
as you
ussies.
get to know them. Yes,
Well,
exactly.
ussies. I don't know where that came from. Ussies.
Sister V.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
used to say
Instead of taking a selfie when it was more than one,
she
more
would.
than just you,
Yeah,
she said, "Let's
would.
take an ussie."
I remember Sister V. You may not know Sister V, but she's a very talented, very deep in culturally unique
individual.
lady.
Oh
She
my
did a lot
God.
to help us out when we first came here. Thank you, Sister V, if you ever get this. Someone ever tell you about it, who helped us out when looking through the mine fields and mines that were here in Savannah as we navigated ourselves being new here in Savannah itself. And me and her didn't always get along, but she definitely was a super sister that in turn helped us out and all that we did. I really enjoyed it. I think she still does. The tourist, does she still do it?
Footprints
I
of
don't know.
Savannah.
Well, you know,
walking tour.
We keep on talking her up. She might show
I
up
know.
real soon.
Now, what we're gonna need to do is call her up and take her tour, do her walking tour
Yeah,
again.
I want to also do day clean tour again.
Yes.
Yeah, Brother Jamal.
I love the day
if
clean
you get
tour.
a chance. Yeah. So if you ever out want to do some tours of Savannah, get some great history, diverse history of Savannah, you try both of those places. One is day clean is done
Day
by
Clean Journeys.
It's done by Jamal Turey, professor of Black Studies. I think he's at University of
Georgia
Southern, and of course Mrs. Sister V, who does that walking tour. Very prolific, connected lady. Both of them do something to the Gullah Geechee time at the Telfair Museum.
Yeah.
So you can always get in touch with me through there.
Yeah.
I'll Google them at the same time. Very good tours. We've been on both of them. You're very much will love and get to know the depth and all of the history of Savannah, not just one side, all of the history
and how
of
it weaves together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're committed to do what they do.
Oh yes, they wholeheartedly.
They are very committed at what they do.
Yes.
From that end. So let's move on. Let's move to signs of committed relationship. What are some signs of committed relationship? What's one?
You talk about your relationships, hopes, and expectations.
That means you're being open and honest about what you feel about life and your relationship going forward. These conversations sometimes explore sticky topics that can make or break a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
These sticky, stocky things in relationship we call about relationship
Yeah.
structure. Desire for
Uh-huh.
children,
Yeah.
careers. How do you
Pets.
pets? How do you want to handle finances?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to live? Adding the goals isn't to lock anyone, but to rather form a strong foundation to share expectation and goals. I want to stop there and let some people know because we like to tell our own testimonies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important in our shows to keep it real.
Yes.
I remember when I met you in Denver
Yes.
and spent my time in Denver. I was going back and forth and to Kansas City because I was trying to close some businesses off in Kansas City
Mm-hmm.
to run and actually live in Denver. But nothing opened up in Denver. And I could tell now it was almost as if it was planned in the stars to go south, the young man. Because we went to Kansas City next.
Yes,
Remember, that's a little bit south. No
I
doubt about
pulled
it.
up stakes and
Yeah. Oh
went
no,
to.
we pulled up stakes. Well, it
Well,
was
you
really
know, you were
because
already there.
I was already
You,
different.
yeah, you
Yeah,
had
I found a
already
house already
been
up
there
there.
working there for a year.
Exactly. Found a house up
Uh-huh.
there. You pulled up stakes, but and moved it in a hillbilly car.
Oh my
And
gosh,
headed out back.
it truly was a
It
hillbilly
was a
car.
friend of mine that
Yes,
helped out us packing that. Remember that? I forgot his
yes.
name.
The
He was like
joy.
another Phoenix.
Yeah,
Reminded me of another Phoenix. That guy. Think about that.
yeah,
He was like another Phoenix who helped us out.
yeah. The joy of that packing up and moving
Mhm.
because I was told, well, he's got a trailer, he's going to bring the trailer. I'm thinking, something, a trailer. I'm thinking, but I had downsized when I
Mm.
moved into my
Yeah,
apartment.
you
I had
didn't much.
already, yeah, I didn't have much at all. I was in my minimalist phase.
Mm-hmm.
And when they drove up, I was like, oh my gosh, it was an open trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a trailer with the side and the back that you roll, you pull up, and I'm like, we're going from one state to another
Uh-huh.
in this with my stuff
Uh-huh.
where it can fall off. Well, they tucked it all in and tied it down, and
We took a long drive back. We had to stop in a little city, remember?
yeah, because the car broke down.
Yeah, the car broke down. How
Yeah.
we get that thing fixed in that little city halfway there?
Oh, we didn't. We had to go back and get it.
Wow. Was your car?
It was my car.
That's right. You're broken
Yeah.
down galoot. That many times I had someone mobile come out and work on that thing.
Yeah,
You decided
no,
to give up the ghost.
it worked real well once that happened.
Maybe the car was telling you, "Don't go."
It was,
west,
but
south with that man.
yeah, but it was that was the only time it broke
Mhm.
down.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just joking.
No, well, what happened is
Mhm.
whatever, it was like a belt or something that broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that as we were going down the highway, and it was interesting. We had to wait for somebody to come and pick us up, but
Mhm.
these are things that now we can talk about and
Mhm.
we can reminisce over. But we had to make that decision.
Mhm.
Where we go? Are you going to come to Denver and live, or am I going to go, to Kansas City? And
if things would have worked out, I would have rather have stayed in Denver
yeah,
and you and I. But again, it looked like the
that was not
cards
yeah.
would no, because
It
the
was
things
not our
that we're doing
destiny.
here now, like right now, what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been something that just would not have probably
No,
happened. In
it would
Denver.
not.
No,
It,
no.
it couldn't have, because we wouldn't have met the person that's making this possible.
Yes,
Julius.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right about that. So it was what an experience and
Yeah.
commitment that it was for us together to make that long move to come this direction.
Yeah.
And
that was just the short one.
yeah, that
The
was,
long one was when we left Kansas City and came down here.
Wow, that was.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of planning we had to put together.
Uh-huh.
The day of the packing we put together, and all the stuff we had to pack on. Then I had to drive it, didn't I?
You drove the big truck,
Yeah, and
the van, the moving van. I had a car that I was following.
The little Honda that was behind it.
No, it wasn't a Honda. It was, I can't remember. No, it was one. It was a Lexus. It was one.
Oh,
of
the Lexus that I should have never sold.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, wow. That was Lexus I should have kept. Wow.
Uh-huh.
But it was. Remember the mountains and stuff we had to go through. Wow.
Yeah.
All these
Yes.
stories are just trying to let you guys know that commitment doesn't mean that it's always going to be happy times. Doesn't mean that you're not to work. It doesn't mean
Right.
that you got to go expand beyond your usual luxury. But
And,
behind it all, that
but,
commitment is
mm,
I'm committed to be connected to this
yeah.
person.
And
Go ahead.
even through the stress,
Hmm.
because moves like that are very stressful.
Yeah, they are.
You know,
Except for the venture of our driving, there
yeah,
was a venture, wasn't it?
that was great. You
Yeah,
know,
because we love traveling that
the
way.
pictures that we have from it, the way we put together that video.
We have to look back at
I
that.
know
Wow,
that
we'll have
was,
to look back on that.
yeah,
Was a heck of a
that was
trip.
really good.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah,
when we used to do stuff like that, we'd put a video together with music behind it,
a video
so
memory
we could
thing.
look at it, and then the family could look at it, even though the family didn't give a darn. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But
we
you know
did.
what? It was our adventure.
It was.
It was our
Still is.
adventure.
Still is
Yeah.
our venture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to take another one.
I
That's what
think
we
so
need to do.
too.
Yeah. Well, where are
Yeah.
we going to move to? Supposed to be trying to go to Africa
I was
next,
getting
aren't we?
ready to say one of the
This
African
year,
countries.
hopefully this one going to Africa maybe next year,
Yeah.
because we got an invitation. We got to follow through on it.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
No doubt about it. We got to follow through on that one.
Yes. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that one. Maybe we'll do a taking the journey together
There.
from
Blog
Africa.
Talk.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be something. That would
Yes.
be something. Wouldn't a live stream from there?
Yeah.
Wow, we're gonna have to think about it.
Definitely.
That's planning.
Yes.
It's going to take planning to be able to do that. That's what we gotta do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Plans for the future.
So you make plans for the future. That's what we're talking about right
Mhm.
now. Commitment indicates dedication and repetition. Repetition.
Repetition.
Repetition. Follow through and follow up. That's part of repetition. Some people ain't too good when it comes to follow through and follow up when it comes to repetition.
Exactly. You know, so and then, you know, you just you've got to realize the reason that you're doing this. And you
Mhm.
wouldn't say you're in a committed relationship after one date. A committed relationship
Mm.
is one that you build on. You
Mhm.
build to that point where you're making that commitment. And so, you know, you do things in stages. You don't just automatically right
Mhm.
out the bat start saying, oh, let's plan to be together on this holiday or that
Mhm.
holiday. You know, it just doesn't work that way. You
And
know,
why not?
well, you may not have a friendship after the first date. You may just be building that friendship.
Oh, that person might feel like, oh, you're really thinking about me much because you're coming up with something in the future. Maybe they might
Yeah,
think that's been a good thing.
but it may also be being presumptuous.
It could be, but I just want to make this point. I know there are some good relationships. I think it's tied on friendship. I don't know. Where the guy just swore up and down, you're going to be my wife one day.
Yeah.
And the woman did not think that. The woman didn't feel that, at least up front.
Hmm.
But his determination
Yeah.
of speaking that over and over again and ongoingly
Mhm.
connected to him through
Spoke it
thoughts,
into being.
spoke it with thoughts, touching,
Yes.
dates, doing nice things to
Yeah.
him over and over again. That person
Yeah.
ended up getting married to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I've
more
heard
than
that
once.
too. But then when you think about it, as I'm retracting some of my words,
Mhm.
after our first date that really wasn't a first date, our first
Mhm.
hangout day,
Mhm.
we had started building a friendship already.
Yes.
It felt like we had already known each other for a while,
Okay.
you know. So
But you and I didn't say we were going to get married, did we?
no, we didn't even plan that first holiday to spend together,
Mhm.
you know, or anything like that. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is, we were already starting to build that at that first date. Some people don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Some people are not ready for even the commitment of a friendship.
I thought you were going to tell the other side of when a guy does that. It just kind of came to my mind what the answer is. That particular person actually built and created in them
Yeah.
the want to then give back that very same thing they were getting. And that's
Mhm.
called what? Commitment. Some people will become committed to you when you go out of the way and act like you're seriously
Absolutely.
committed to what?
To
To
them.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that they don't have the ability to commit. They do.
Mhm. Yes.
It's just they haven't found someone they feel serious about to want to commit
Exactly.
to.
Exactly. Or they are, jaded, for lack of a better term,
Yes,
because they have committed before and did not get it in return.
exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's probably the answer to that one a lot.
I think you're probably
Yeah,
right.
yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Guys who are out there who can do that, I can say is you tough. I have never tried that before. Really, I'm probably too shy or maybe too downing in that matter. Come from Kansas City, the show me state. But,
one thing about you, you're very realistic, and
Yeah.
you have a tendency to weigh different sides of different
Well, they
possibilities
say
and
that's
stuff.
what Virgos do. Hey, it's my month too coming up.
Coming
I think
up.
it starts now. They say,
Yeah, we're in Virgo now.
yeah, that's what I heard.
Mhm.
That's what
A few days into it,
Yeah,
anyway.
not too much into signs, but that's
Yeah.
what I heard. That's what I heard. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
that is definitely your
We
time.
are really close to time. I hate to start something else because we'll not do this a
No,
second time.
we
especially
can't
when
start.
talk
We
about-
can't start
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
new now
yeah,
because we want to talk too much.
yeah. Exactly.
So one
exactly.
thing that we can say though
Mhm.
is join us also on WRUU
Yes.
on Saturday mornings, and also make sure you see us here every Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. And stay tuned for more information about our Wow Gullah Geechee date night.
Yes. Turn it over to our engineer. It's all yours. Thank you guys for listening. Till next time. And she's back. God bless.
I like that.